Welcome to a KNAUER HPLC Columns tutorial with the topic HPLC column hardware. Whenever we are talking about HPLC columns, everybody is always interested in the filling of the column. Of course, the material is very important because this is where the separation happens. But let me tell you that also the column hardware, so the outer part made from stainless steel mostly, is a crucial fact of a separation column. So this is what we will focus on in this video. There are a lot of different types of column hardware on the market, and let me just introduce you shortly to the KNAUER HPLC column hardware. So we offer a wide range of different column hardware types. So with our columns, you can use analytical HPLC up to the preparative scale. So here you see the typical analytical scale columns. This one is a vertex 3 stainless steel analytical column with an integrated pre-column at the column top. And here is the same version but without a pre-column. On this side, on the right, you see a standard preparative column and a more sophisticated preparative column hardware, the so-called DAX preparative column hardware. This is characterized by extremely high lifetime and excellent reproducibility, while the standard columns are really simple, cost-effective, and versatile. So it depends on the needs of the user which one would be the best. All these columns can be given to you in different dimensions. So here you see the different inner diameters and the different column lengths that we can offer. So typically the vertex 3 analytical and standard preparative columns are offered in a range of 2 millimeters up to 50 millimeters. Normally, we talk about analytical columns from 2 up to 8 millimeter ID, and when the ID gets higher, we are talking about preparative LC columns. And you see we have a lot of different lengths of columns, and of course, special dimensions are always also on request. So up for here, the preparative columns. There are not so many different dimensions that we can offer right now, but if you have any special demands, just ask. But now, which column dimensions are recommended for which system? And now I will focus a little bit on analytical HPLC because here the questions arise more often. So the stationary phase typically depends on your application, of course, because there the separation has to take place. But the dimensions of the column depend on your system. So which pump is integrated in your system and what you want to do with that. So talking about KNAUER systems, I was always recommend to use for classical HPLC systems. So systems that are not used above 700 bar, typically in the range of 400 bar maximum. Typical column dimensions would be 250 millimeter in length and an inner diameter of 4 or 4.6 millimeters. The material would most often have a particle size of 5 micrometers. When you go up to around 700 bar systems and also use up to 500 or 600 bar, maybe you can shorten the column a little bit. So you can use a 150 millimeter length, 3 millimeter inner diameter, and a 3 micrometer particle size. And if you switch to the UHPLC range, so there you will need a different kind of pump because these columns will really do a little bit of back pressure. So there a 1000 bar pump is recommended. And there you can use columns with a typical dimension of 100 millimeter length, 2 millimeter ID, and 2 micrometer particle size. So what you can see from this chart is the smaller your column gets, of course, also the shorter the analysis time will be, but also the back pressure will go up. So switching from classical HPLC to UHPLC means higher back pressure, but also shorter analysis times and higher performance. This is a question that I get always asked because not everybody knows about integrated precolumns. We offer this kind of precolumn for analytical columns with 3, 4, and 4.6 millimeter ID. And let me just shortly explain what it means. So here you see a schematic drawing of a typical vertex 3 column without a precolumn. So you see both ends look the same. So the inlet and the outlet of the column are the same. Now, if you exchange the screw at the top of the column, so let's imagine here is the top of the column, and you just remove the screw cap that sits on the column, you will see that there is a little end fitting sitting inside. And if you remove both, don't be afraid. This column is sealed here with sieves and filters. No material can get out, but you can just remove this, and then you go on and exchange the small screw cap with a larger screw cap. So you see here is more space, and also you can get an adapter that allows you to integrate a precolumn. This is an article, so we call it the precolumn screw cap for our Vertex 3 column hardware. It has an order number, can be ordered separately, so that you can equip a column that you ordered without a precolumn later on with a precolumn. If you order directly a column with integrated precolumn, you don't have to care about that because everything will already be installed on your column. But you see something would be missing here, of course, the precolumn itself. So we recommend to use a precolumn with a matching material to the material in your main column. You can equip this with your column, and afterwards just screw everything in again. So just screw the little adapter and then the precolumn and also the end fitting together with the precolumn screw cap on your analytical column. So everything that you can see here sits inside of the precolumn screw cap. What is very nice is that you don't need any additional capillary, so you don't get any more dead volume to your system when you use an integrated precolumn. What would be the fact if you use an external precolumn? But maybe you're interested on how this looks in real. So this was just a schematic drawing, but I can also show you how this looks in real life. So here you can see a KNAUER column that is already equipped with a precolumn. So you see there is this longer screw cap on the top of the column. And I will just show you how to exchange the precolumn that is now already installed here. So you will just have to take the column, and as the screw cap is screwed very tight, you will need wrenches. So with one wrench, please use exactly this place to hold the main column. And with the second screw, you can just loosen the precolumn screw cap a little bit. So with a little bit effort, you can do that. And for the last, you can just screw it with your hand. So just remove the precolumn screw cap and you directly see there are 3 parts sitting inside. Put the screw cap away, then you can remove easily all 3 things. And here you see the column is perfectly sealed. And now you disassemble this one. So here's the little adapter. And here is the end fitting. And at last, the precolumn itself that we wanted to exchange. So you see, this is really easy steps, and I think nothing can get broken if you try it on your own. And in the next step, you will have to disassemble. So you will take a new precolumn and fix everything again. It's very easy again. So you just take the column, still perfectly sealed. You take the little adapter and put it on the column. You don't have to make this so tight because later on we screw it. You take the new precolumn, just put it on, and in the last step, the little end fitting. So if you're finished with that, just take the pre-column screw cap, put it on your column again, and screw it with your hand. And for the last little, you take wrenches again, fix the column tube, hold it very tight, and then with another wrench, you just tighten the column. So you don't have to be so hard with that, just a little screw so it is really fixed and can't be opened again just with hands. So I think this is really easy. And I hope I could clarify a little bit where integrated pre-column sits and how it can be exchanged. When you order a KNAUER column, what do you get? Of course, you get the column. In this case, you see again it has an integrated pre-column because here screw cap is longer than on this side. You get every column in a separate box. And KNAUER really wants to avoid any plastics. So the column box that we offer is always made from pure paper. The column is still sealed very well and very safe in this package. And of course, you get the HPLC column test certificate. So every of our columns is tested separately, not only batches, but every single column. On the certificate, you can see different things. So on top, you see the column specifications on the left side and the test conditions on the right side. So whenever you're not sure if your column is working well anymore, you can, of course, just put this test conditions on your HPLC system and try to see if the column is working in this range still as it was delivered. In the middle, you see the test chromatogram. So this is the run that we did for our quality control. And on the bottom, there is a column quality evaluation. So here are the numbers for quality control. So to sum up, what is special about HPLC columns from KNAUER, or maybe what is the benefit? We have a wide range of stationary faces for nearly any application. There are some more videos about HPLC columns, and I would invite you to watch some of the tutorials. I will talk a lot of the different materials there. We have a very modern column hardware, and it is available in different dimensions, so you can easily choose the right dimension for you. Also, it is compatible with any LC system. So whenever competitor's system uses standard threads and standard connections, what is mostly the case, you can use our columns in any system. We offer this integrated column, pre-column, that can really extend column lifetime and saves money if you don't need to exchange your main column so often, but you can just exchange the pre-column. And it can be coupled to the column, as we have seen, without any additional data volume to your system. Also, there's a really easy scalability from analytical to prep LC, because we offer this wide range of different hardware types, but also the material in different dimensions. So I hope you get now an impression of the KNAUER HPLC column hardware, and I could convince you that not only the material is very important in LC, but that also column hardware is a crucial fact.